Today we have a tale of two hot hatchbacks, both around $40,000, both all-wheel drive, and both surprisingly similar when it comes to power output.
Yeah, these on paper really are pretty neck and neck, even though a lot of you might not think that these cars compete. And today we're going to go through everything you need to know about these two cars. So Case, what do you got over there?
I have a brand new Mazda3 hatchback, but it's not just a standard Mazda3 hatchback. This is the all-wheel drive turbo model. And why don't I go ahead and pop the hood? This is a Skyactiv 2.5 liter four-cylinder, like I said, with a turbo. 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque when you run this on premium. It automatically derates itself if you don't, but those are pretty solid figures.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's a good amount of power, but I think we need to peek under the hood of the Corolla, see what that's packed. And this is the all-new GR Corolla, which is the hottest Corolla you can get. Under here is a 1.3 liter turbocharged three-cylinder engine, so you're down one cylinder compared to that Mazda, but a lot more power, 300 horsepower out of this GR Corolla and a little less torque, 273 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's about, well, it's 50 more horsepower and 47 fewer torque. So their overall output is actually pretty similar, despite the fact that this, like you said, is down a cylinder and it's a little more than half the displacement. As far as styling goes, there is quite a substantial difference between these two cars because this Mazda is very smooth, very sleek. We have it in a pearl white here with gloss black accents. It looks very modern and very grown up. This is
it looks
a
very
good-looking
mature
car.
to me.
It does. It does look mature.
Yeah,
in a good way.
It's got that sophisticated look, and there's so many hot hatches out there that, you know, they just are so in your face and over the top. And this gives you all the fun of having a hot hatch without screaming, "Look at me and look what I'm driving."
The other thing that I like about it is that it's a little bit longer than the Corolla. So this is about 3 inches longer than the Corolla, even though it's actually 2 inches narrower, which is part of what gives it that sleek, elongated kind of profile, especially when you look at it from the side.
Yeah, I really like the design of these Mazdas, especially when you come around to the rear. Something about this big body panel right here, I just think is an awesome look. And
absolutely huge pillar there. The other interesting thing as far as design goes, there is a little bit of chrome when it comes to the badging. Most everything is gloss black until you come around to the bottom of the window here and you have this one lone bit of chrome. If it were me, I'd kind of like to see that just match the rest of the trim.
All right, Case, what do you think about the new GR Corolla?
I've got to admit, it's definitely, even though it's less grown up than the Mazda, a wide body hatchback, all-wheel drive, turbo, it's cool.
Yeah, you're stepping out of this thing, it's hard not to turn your head and look back at it. It's just got that really cool stance to it. And I think they did a good job making it really stand out, but not making it too over the top with like a huge wing on the back or anything like that. But you definitely can walk up to it. And even if you're not in the know, you can tell this isn't your regular Corolla.
There's no mistaking what it is, and I love some of the vents that are built into the wide body on this car. I love the wheel design, also the GR branded red brake calipers here. Everything about this screams hot hatch.
It's this for me, Case. It's the skirt and this little piece they put on the rear door right here. That seals the deal for me.
There is a degree to which you kind of want a hatchback to be a little in your face and a little childish, and I think this is that, and especially the triple pipes that are back here. That's pretty cool. Stepping inside of the Mazda3, this is where this car really sets itself apart from the Corolla because the materials in here are top-notch and the design is really good too. It's a little hard to tell with this interior being all black.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, that really goes for quite a while, but feel this dash material. Feel how soft touch that is. I've felt soft touch before. This is some of the softest touch I've felt.
Yeah, the interiors on all modern Mazdas, and especially this one, just scream quality. And it's not just like the obvious places you put your hands. You go kind of lower on the dash, everywhere that you'd be reaching, even the handles here, by the lock switch. It's really hard to run into anything hard plastic. And sure, you know, if you look around, you'll find it.
Yeah.
But
there is some.
For the most part, this is a really quality interior for what classic car this is.
And the gauges look really great. The switchgear is really great. Hard buttons for the climate, which is nice. My biggest gripe is this infotainment screen. It feels far away. If we click on something here that highlights a little bit of the bezels are huge. And you have to navigate it with this scroll wheel. Of course, it's not a touch screen. It wouldn't make sense for it to be because it's that far away from you. So that screen is a low point on this interior for me, but the materials and the design and the switchgear kind of make up for it.
I'd agree with you in everything you just said. I am totally at the point where I think everything needs to be a touchscreen. I'm so sick of all these weird controls. Touchscreens are good now. Let's just use touchscreens and everything. But besides that, everything is pretty perfect in here.
We also have a sunroof, which is always nice to have.
I'm not a big fan of sunroofs, but if you are, this one's got it.
First things first, with driving the Mazda, little acceleration. It's torquey. It doesn't really throw you back super hard in the seat, but picks up speed pretty nice.
Yeah, that doesn't move too bad, and sounds not bad either.
Yeah, it sounds okay. It's just a 4-cylinder, but you hear a little bit of the turbo. The bigger thing with driving this car is how relaxing and refined it is, because the steering, the handling, the suspension, compliance, comfort, everything is really good. It's a pretty quiet interior. This is very close to a luxury car experience in my mind.
Yeah, totally. Once you're sitting inside of this, you kind of forget that you're in a hot hatch until you step into it and start accelerating. But just cruising down the road, especially from the passenger seat, yeah, I feel like I'm in any other luxury car.
And Mazda also engineers a car that is really nice to drive. It gives you feedback. It's a fun, engaging vehicle to be behind the wheel of, even with an automatic transmission. And as far as an automatic goes, I like this 6-speed. This transmission feels like a well-driven manual. It's not like a crazy fast dual clutch or anything, but it just does what you want an automatic transmission to do. It's very predictable, and it just makes this car easy to use.
Can I flip you into sport mode here?
Sure. Let's give that a whirl.
Did that work? Do you see it? I see it on the dash.
Yeah, and it downshifted me and is keeping me at a higher RPM, so that if I want to slow down a little bit here and have acceleration on tap, it's got no problem doing so. And yeah, it's again, it's more than adequate acceleration from this car. I'd be pretty happy with the speed that you can hit in this.
Yeah, I think you could definitely have some good fun days out in some mountain roads on this, and at the same time we've got nice leather seats. We have a Bose sound system, pretty nice looking widescreen up there that shows us our map, even though it's not the best infotainment system in the world, but yeah, good place to spend time.
Oh man, cloth seats?
Doesn't matter, Case.
Why does it not matter?
Right there.
Yeah, you can't get a manual with the turbo and all-wheel drive on the Mazda, so you've got that going for you.
Yeah, this is the highlight of this interior right here. I can forget about everything else that's in here. It's still not a bad place to be, but it's not the quality interior you get in the Mazda over there. Definitely some soft touch, but hard plastics on the doors and pretty much everywhere you look. And if I start it up here, we'll take a peek at the technology. Not a bad screen system. Still have a digital cluster in front with a lot of cool information. Really big fan of that.
This car also yells at you a lot when you start up, but not quite as much. I do like the information that you can pull up on your instrument cluster there. That's all good. It doesn't look quite as nice, quite as premium, or even nearly as nice and premium as it does in the Mazda. And then this screen, I'm not sure that this is really any better. It is touchscreen, but the bezels are even bigger. It's not a spectacular setup.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I do like that it's a touchscreen. It's easier to interact with, and apparently a little slow to load. But yeah, it's all right. I do, again, really like the boost gauge I get here and the little G meter, but I can forget about a lot of the stuff in front of me purely because of this.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah. All right, Case, the GR Corolla, which I think is a little more fun to drive.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, and it's definitely more dramatic acceleration.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel faster because you have to row through your own gears.
Yeah.
So that added step makes you feel like you're doing something a little more exciting. It's not, you know, crazy noticeably faster than the Mazda we just got out of, but I still think in just about every way, this is a little more of a fun car to drive.
Yeah, and definitely more aggressive, and you notice that this leans more performance than the Mazda in the way that it goes over the road surface, because it's for sure stiffer.
Yeah, it's definitely stiffer. Definitely comes on to boost a little harder, I think. You can feel it pick up a little more.
Yeah. But all of those things do make it a lot of fun to drive. So if you really want to go tear up some canyon roads, have fun, this is going to be more engaging. And again, not that the Mazda isn't engaging to drive, it is, but this even more so.
This is a lot stiffer, and I can really tell now going over these, these little
Yeah.
expansion joints here.
It's noticeable.
Just like the Mazda 2, a couple different drive modes. So we have this one switch up here that'll go between Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. But then you've got a separate selector back here to kind of change the power distribution. So I have it 60-40 right now, but you can also go to a 30-70 split, or you can push in the center to go to a GR4 track mode.
Which is a really cool thing to be able to adjust. At the end of the day, if you want a more aggressive vehicle, and if you're okay with daily driving a more aggressive vehicle, then this is definitely going to be the car to go for. The Mazda is just a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed, and more refined. See how the back seats are. I'm going to do both back seats because I'm a little bit larger than Alex, although I'm not sure he quite agrees. Seat's pretty far back right now. The passenger seat is further forward. That would probably be a better place to sit. But yeah, one way or another, no matter how you spin it, it's a bit cramped back here. I also don't have any vents, and if I fold this down, I do have cup holders, but that's about it. Not a lot of amenities here in the back seat.
Yeah, it looks like the seats are cut out a decent bit for your knees to slide into, but still, it's not helping a whole lot.
No, I would definitely ask the driver to move the seat up a little bit, and then it would probably be fine. But Alex, how's the trunk looking?
It's not bad at all, and it actually goes down quite a bit here. Drops significantly when you get in, so you can get a good amount of stuff in here. It's about 20 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats, and you've got this little cargo cover. Keep all your stuff nice and hidden as well.
Yeah, your liftover height isn't super low, but let's see how that compares to the Corolla. All right, let's try the back seat of the Corolla. And I'm still knees up against the seat in front of me, maybe not quite as much as in the Mazda. Similar headroom and a similar lack of features back here. In fact, just like the front, it's also cloth back here, so nothing too special. And also like the Mazda, I do have cup holders, but that's about it.
Yeah, let's take a peek at the trunk too while we're back here. And pretty big difference you can notice right away. This floor is pretty much right up here at the opening, so doesn't drop down quite as far, and a good bit less space. You're down to about 17.8 cubic feet of cargo space in the rear of this.
Yeah, it's definitely not a massive trunk. Now to wrap things, we have to say which one we would actually choose to take home and buy. And I'm gonna start off by saying that this car is about $38,000 as spec'd. That car's about $39,000 as spec'd. So in that way, they're very comparable. But this is, of course, the real world. And in the real world, a lot of dealerships do markups. And we've seen those markups on these GR Corollas. And this being marked up a lot more than that, I personally would have a hard time spending my money if it's gonna be that much more expensive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. This, as it sits, as it's spec'd on paper, MSRP, is just over, close to $40,000. It's like $39,600 and some change. And at that price, I'd be a customer all day long, and I would be more than happy to pay a little more for the GR Corolla than the Mazda over there. But seeing these $10,000 markups, I couldn't justify paying over 50 grand for one of these. It just doesn't feel like a $50,000 car to me. So if you can get one of these at MSRP, I'd go all day long with the Toyota. And if you can't, the Mazda is a great pick till these come down in price.
Anyways, let us know what you guys would pick down in the comments below. That's all for this video. You can check out even more of our videos on alttfl.com. We'll see you in the next.